Terence "Bud" Crawford is undefeated.
Let's go. Beautiful right hand. And the champ gets to him. 27 knockouts in his career. Do we have 28 right here?
This fight is over.
Thundering in. Look at Crawford. Vicious attack to close it.
A world champion in 3 divisions, pound for pound royalty. But there is a deeper reason behind his dominance, one that doesn't just show up when you look on paper.
Crawford took that last round off and
he's got a rhythm to him right now.
He's back.
Oh, a lunging left hand. That backs up Kamiaska's. Then an uppercut. An absolutely brilliant uppercut.
Aside from all of his boxing talents, Terence Crawford is truly a one-of-a-kind fighter. He's not just a southpaw, he's not just orthodox, he's both and neither. Crawford's ability to switch stances mid-fight, mid-combo even, mid-step, lets him dictate the terms of every exchange. He can pressure, counter, escape, and strike from anywhere. And this is the boxing secret Terence Crawford doesn't want you to know about. I'm Bayliun, and let's break it down.
Shaking his head, he's not happy he wants to end this fight.
Of Gamboa.
He drops him again. That's a hard knockdown this time.
At Crawford for the moment. There's the overhand right. And another combination. Beautiful work by Crawford.
When Crawford steps inside a boxing ring, it's not with a straightforward game plan. He's no Mike Tyson with a clear motivation to just blast your head off.
Saw from a sharp right uppercut to the body by Tyson again.
With Crawford's game comes timing and reads, and at first, it's all about figuring you out. Against Amir, a British boxing legend with fantastic movement and creativity himself, Terence began early in southpaw, reading Khan and setting traps. As Crawford started in southpaw, he'd often pop out his double jab to bait a reaction, but when Khan bit, Crawford was already pulling back, setting a trap. But when dealing with Terence, you never know where the threat truly lies. As Khan came forward, Crawford dropped his big rear hook, and as Khan flies past, showed just how good his stance switching was, changing to orthodox and following him, landing 2 lead left hooks and then a crisp right over the top. It's a stance switch baked into his counter, and he totally baited Khan in with it. Then immediately after, Crawford switched back to southpaw using his lead right hook to take another angle, and without pause flowed back into orthodox to fire a sharp 3-2-3 combination. Khan was trying to keep up, but Crawford was already steps ahead. Now in orthodox again, Crawford pressured with his jab, it brought Khan forward to attack, and as he was slipping incoming fire, Crawford rolled under the shots and stepped smoothly back into southpaw, and then landed a picture-perfect straight left followed by a hook, then another rapid-fire combo. It's not just switching stances, he's using each one to build layers of attack and defense, bring his opponent forward, and letting fly with offense from all angles.
Before we answer the bell to the rest of the video, I want to talk about today's sponsor, you. The sport's greatest champions need rock-solid support to get to the next level, and we're no different. That's why we've launched the Modern Martial Artist Patreon with 4 tiers: Sparring Partner, Fighter, Champion, and Legend. Because, with your help, the channel can tackle bigger and better projects as we go from a respected champ to the top of the pound-for-pound list. But what if you sign up right now? I'm happy you asked. For all patrons at the Fighter tier and above, the team has been putting in some extra road work to bring you 3 patron-exclusive videos each and every month. This month's batch covers UFC lightweight GOAT Khabib Nurmagomedov, the lineal MMA heavyweight champion, the Predator Francis Ngannou, and the incredible first meeting between Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. But it's not over yet. There's something for patrons at every tier. But I'll mention the highlights. Monthly polls about which fighters to cover, bi-monthly live chats, an exclusive community, end roll shoutouts, and much, much more. Of course, every view, like, and share is instrumental in helping the channel, and the team is extremely grateful. But if you like what we do and want to see even more, sign up for the Modern Martial Artist Patreon today.
Against a more aggressive opponent, these kind of tactics worked even better. Shawn Porter was a powerhouse at the weight class who was always looking to take your head off. As Porter was pressuring hard, Crawford ended up squared up against the ropes and from orthodox threw an uppercut, and as he did, stepped forward right foot first into southpaw, simultaneously slipping outside of Porter's right hand. Then Crawford began to set his own traps. In southpaw, he double jabbed his way in, then threw a straight left, knowing Porter will roll under it. As Porter does, Crawford was already shifting to orthodox and then blasting a right hand from the new angle. It's so fast it's hard to catch, and it's like fighting a shapeshifter. Then as Porter pressured again, Crawford threw a rear uppercut from southpaw and stepped all the way through, once again getting his head outside of Porter's punch and exiting safely on the same side. It's another example of how shifting while striking also gets him out of trouble while giving him control of the center again. When Porter tried to double up on the shots, that didn't work either. Crawford would duck under while still being able to switch to orthodox mid-duck. He then framed with his lead left hand for a split second, then stepped back into southpaw. Then as Porter continued his offense and threw again, Crawford ducked once more and made it look easy, exiting orthodox once more. He's constantly flying between stances to control the distance and the threat. And once Crawford really gets comfortable with his trap setting and defensive footwork, then he really starts to open up with his offense, and a great example of that was in his fight with Gamboa, another powerhouse with extreme speed who was looking to take Crawford's head off. Gamboa came in heavy and jumped in often with big hooks. Crawford, in southpaw, check hooked with his right and then stepped out, ready to angle his next attack. This is a pattern you can see him repeat in so many fights, but it's what comes next that you want to worry about. This time, he switched to orthodox, moving forward and lands a lead left hook that catches Gamboa off guard. Then, without breaking stride, he squared up his stance and fired a thunderous left overhand, dropping him. The stance switching not only hid his attack, but squaring up generated extra force for the overhand. Now on the hump from orthodox, Crawford opened up with a lead uppercut, but then immediately backstep with his left leg, squaring his stance into southpaw, then dipped to the outside and loaded a monster left hook. Gamboa's leaning away from Crawford's right, thinking that's the danger, but Bud flipped the danger zone when he switched stances and he leant right into it. And even when Gamboa continued to march forward, Crawford showed again he's just as good off the back foot. He kept switching while walking back, defending and attacking at once. He ended up in orthodox and fired another right cross and a hook. Even under pressure, he's incredibly hard to time and hit and constantly threatens as he moves back. And once Gamboa was hurt, the finishing sequence was just spectacular. He moved forward and switched, then flashed his arms, getting Gamboa to freeze and fire out his jab, and then detonated a double left hook from a squared orthodox stance. It was a sensational knockdown hidden in the switch. And then the finish, Gamboa was stumbling forward, firing shots. As the right hand came, Crawford stepped back with his left leg into southpaw while loading a nuclear lead uppercut from the right hand. It landed flush while Crawford was on the retreat, and exactly what Gamboa didn't expect, again hidden in the switch. Now, against a taller and more tactical Kell Brook, Crawford dug deep in his arsenal of switch attacks to confuse and pick him apart. Standing in front of Brook in southpaw, Crawford dipped and level changed and then exploded forward, landing a 2-1 combo and immediately cut the angle but stayed in southpaw, only to jab back in and then stance switch, transitioning all his power into a huge right hook to the body. Brook didn't even have time to react. And once he had Brook hurt and in front of him, his pressure backed him up to the ropes, and when Crawford comes forward to attack, he showed he doesn't need to reset. He just squared up and fired left hands, and as Brook tried to turn away, effortlessly switched again to continue the offense on a new angle of attack and fired another clean right hand, which finished the fight. He completely overwhelmed him in this fight with constant shifts and different looks, baiting out offense, cutting angles and switching back in to deliver more damage, but also the angle switches allowed him to continuously chain his offense. And then against an equally astonishing undefeated boxer in Errol Spence, Crawford delivered nothing short of a masterclass. As Spence came forward to corner him with the kind of offense that had stunned most people, Crawford used his stance switching footwork to get out of there. First, he ducked under one shot from orthodox, stepped to exit left, but read more danger, so instead then rolled into southpaw and found his escape on the opposite side. Later in the fight, when he was trapped again against the ropes, when Spence was expecting more defense perhaps, Crawford's squared no stance perfectly hid a lightning fast lead right hand that nobody, not even the commentary team, saw until the replay. Because Crawford doesn't have a preferred side and switches so much, the power he can generate from southpaw or orthodox has finished many fighters, including Spence. He landed his right hand in this fight like a hammer. That's not supposed to be his power hand when he's southpaw, but with Crawford, either one can be. And perhaps never was that more on display than when he stepped in to fight John Molina, a Mexican-style boxer who would not stop walking forward, and Crawford took complete advantage. He used his southpaw jab to peck at Molina and circle to the outside, and then as Molina stepped forward, Crawford immediately stepped all the way back with his right leg, squaring up for maximum power, throwing a combo and angling off again. Molina wanted to constantly pressure, but it only led him into more danger from Crawford, who again, with his back to the ropes, squared up and threw a southpaw uppercut and then exited right. Then immediately planted his foot, framing with his lead hand, and instead on the opposite side loaded the right uppercut from orthodox. Then again the same thing, leaning off to the left, still square, so when the right hook came he could duck under, clinch and again escape. Sometimes it's so subtle it's easy to miss. As the fight drew to a close, Crawford took a big step with his right foot into a square stance, but also throwing a straight left from southpaw. Then again exiting to his right and stepping back into orthodox again, constantly reorientating the fight. And now, with Crawford ready to close out the show and Molina severely damaged, we got another showcase in the power with both his hands. He sent out his left, framing from a square stance, using it to drill a right hook to the body that buckled Molina and had him frozen. And realizing this, two quick squared straights came firing from orthodox while switching back to southpaw. His lead right hand can be a jab, a hook, a power shot, it all depends on his stance. Crawford, now ready for the kill, slid back even further, bringing Molina towards him, and now in orthodox, seeked the left hand again before switching back to southpaw with the lead right, now the jab hand, and it also scored. John just didn't know where the shots were coming from. And again, effortlessly, he countered the forward pressure, floating back in southpaw, firing his left hand forward, stepping into orthodox as he does briefly for extra power, then shifting back to southpaw with the lead right hand going forward and probing, disguising the big straight left behind it. This fight ended with Molina trapped in the corner, and again an extreme display of power from Crawford's lead hand, his right, as he decimated Molina. Really, in some ways, to beat Crawford, you have to beat two fighters at once. Orthodox Crawford can walk you down, load up on the right, or use it as a disguise. Southpaw Crawford can jab, pull counter, angle off, and slam you with hidden lefts, or again, set up his knockout lead right hand. But in between those two versions is where the real danger lies. Because while you're figuring out what stance he's in, he's already figured out how to finish you. And this is the secret Terence Crawford doesn't want you to know, and it's the reason he might just be the best boxer alive. I guess pretty soon we're going to find out.